Well, welcome back to another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Welcome into show number 244. Can you believe it? We've been doing shows 244. This, of course, this November 13th marks my 10th anniversary of being a YouTube creator. Now, I'm not sure exactly when the first video was made. I have to go back and look at that. It could have been that I just joined YouTube at that point, but that's what it said on my profile there. So we're going to just celebrate. We're going to have a good time tonight. I'm going to catch up on all the news that I've missed. And again, welcome to the show. This is going to be Torch News Roundup number 282. So we're going to talk about all the pop culture things that have been in the news for the past month that I've kind of missed. For a quick apology rundown of what's been going on the past month, if you weren't here back like 10 years ago near the beginning when I first started doing videos, probably, I don't know, when was the first video? That's really making me curious now. But I did a lot of reviews, and that was kind of my way of getting sort of myself acclimated to doing, live streams and stuff. At that point, I just did quick 10-minute videos, quick clips, and reviewing things that interested me. And one of the things that interested me the most was doing like Halloween movies. And I was hoping to try to get back to that a little bit this year. And I actually wrote 2 scripts for reviews. But the problem is, back then when I was, just getting going with the comic, and it was easy to delegate time because I could devote like 4 hours to doing a video. And nowadays I don't really have the time to work on the book as much as I should with doing, edited videos and clips where you have to basically edit the video, put the images together and this that. So I wrote 2 scripts, and I was going to try to get at least one done before Halloween. And of course that didn't pan out because too much stuff going on in my personal life. Couldn't find time to do it. Now that I've got the scripts written, though, I'm hoping that maybe at least at some point I'll be able to record these reviews of a couple of Universal Halloween movies, classic Universal monster movies, which is one of my favorite things to watch during the Halloween season during October. Hopefully I'll get them recorded at some point and have them ready before Halloween next year. That's the only thing I can commit to at this point. Welcome to the show. Here we sit high atop Torch Tower, stately Torch Tower, looking down upon the fair metropolis below. And we got quite a show for you tonight. And as I said, hopefully you're going to be in it for the long haul, because we've got to make up for some lost time. I think I haven't done a video for about 3 weeks. I haven't done a live stream in probably a month. So, and again, this is probably not going to change in the near future because I am busy normally by the end of November and during December. I got 2 sisters' birthdays in December, both my sisters. I've got Christmas, of course, and then there's New Year's, and then we've got Thanksgiving coming up at the end of the month. But doubly so this year because I have decided to make my appearance tour coincide with the holiday season. Now we're calling it the Delusions of Grandeur Tour this year. And yeah, we're going to hit a couple of places. We're going to do a couple of shows right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And hopefully you can come check them out and see some of the stuff that we prepared. I got so many goodies. And this might be, in case it's the last video before these appearances, I've got to talk about it for a few minutes. So the first one will be, again, I don't know if I'll do a video again before this, but November 18th, we're going to be at Waltham in Massachusetts. I already tried to give you guys a rundown of this. If you check the link in the description below, it'd probably be easier for you just to read on my website exactly, where these appearances will be. But at least the first one we have is at the American Legion Post 156 215 Waverly Oaks Road, Waltham, Mass, Saturday, November 18th from 12 to 5. Yours truly will be there. And I have put together some pretty impressive goodie bags for you guys. I got some impressive goodies. Now we're going to continue to trot out the Death of Bullets bourbon arc, and we still have some of those with the commemorative armbands. So for $20, you get the armband, the commemorative one-of-a-kind armband, limited to, well, I made about 24, but I'm going to keep a few for myself. So let's just say limited to 20. And in that, you're going to get everything but the kitchen sink. You're going to get the 3 issues, the Family Jewels arc, which is sort of the Death of Bullets bourbon arc, we call it. You're going to get a sticker, a magnet. You're also going to get a poster, because I still have some posters from the early days that I gave away at first, but they became too cumbersome to bring all the time. And so I started just giving out magnets, and people seemed more happy with the magnets. But you're going to get a free poster. I'm just cleaning out all inventory. And you're also going to get, I'm really excited about this, you're going to get the first ever Bullets Bourbon calendar magnet. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen them, but sometimes you get them with, I don't know, at a bank or at a pizza parlor, where it's got like the blocks of the calendar months, and interspaced with it is images of Bullets Bourbon. I could probably show you this if I could bring it up online here, but I didn't prepare for that. So you'll be more excited to get it if you actually show up at one of these appearances. But hey, if you're interested, you just drop me a comment, drop me a DM on Twitter. You got the link in the description below. You can get in touch with me via my website, and I'll see if I can get you one of these magnets. I've only got 10. Again, I'm going to keep one, so there's probably 9 going to be in circulation. With a $10 purchase, I'm going to give them away first come, first serve. And as I said, there's something for everybody. The individual books are, the individual issues are $4 each. And, oh, there's the crawl. We forgot to put that up. And you'll find these trades there as well. The 32-page It's Always Something for $6. Knock on Wood for $7. 40 pages. When the Night Comes, 60 pages for $8. And, there you go. And also, we also have the last 2 original, from the original printing, first issue of The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon, the It's Always Something. From the first printing. Now, those are going to be, when they're gone, they're gone. I'm selling out my back catalog. I've got too much old stuff there, and we've remastered the stuff. Of course, I'm not going to reduce the price on the first issues, because first issues are always going to sell. So they're going to be selling at regular price. From the beginning, I've sold them at about $5. They're going to go quick. There's 2 left. And $5, and hey, you're getting the original copy. This is when I did it with pencil and marker, and also the hand lettering. Then with issues 2 and 3, I did computer coloring by issue 4. Issue 4 was the last one with hand lettering. And we're still selling those out. We're going to sell those out as grab bags too. Issues 2 and 3, whatever's left I have of 2 and 3 are going into a bag. You're going to get them for $1 a piece. Same with When the Night Comes, issues 4, 5, and 6. We're putting them in a goodie bag for $3, $1 a piece. You can't go wrong. Christmas is coming. That's my gift to you, where I'm going to try to sell out my back catalog of issues. And again, this is before the remaster. So if you want to see, you'll be a part of history in a way, because you're going to be getting the originals. And they're not going to be available again. I'm not printing up more of the original version. From now on, the remastered trades are about all that you're going to get for the original 4 issues, the original 6 issues. Let me give you a little something else here. Take a look at our most recent issue that we've got up for you guys. Again, you can find my comics also on Global Comics if you're into that digital comics thing. If you're into having a paper copy, like I prefer a hard copy, check us out on Indie Planet. Um, they're still so agonizingly slow. Last I looked about a week ago, they didn't have this up for paper hard copy. But again, just get in touch with me if you want one. I'll give you an autographed copy. And again, you'll get a couple of goodies. Um, depending on where you are located, we'll see about the shipping and handling, but it shouldn't be too much. So again, a lot of goodies. We're going to have some sales. We're going to have, we're going to try to make something for everyone. We're going to have prices that are affordable for anybody that just wants to be dip your toe in the water and find out about the Bullets Bourbon universe. If you're a collector, you're going to get the biggest top prize stuff we've got. If want to build your collection, you can, get a little bit of everything. And again, we're really excited about this because I haven't been out on the road too much lately. Last year, I only did a Plastic City Comic Con, which was a lot of fun. I loved being there with Keith Gleason's show. It was a lot of fun. I would have liked to do it again this year, but the problem is as I said, it's Biden's America. It's the fact that groceries cost like $75 now when it used to cost you, $25 for the same stuff. And it's difficult for me to justify getting a table at $175, knowing I'm probably not going to make that much back. And, again, I'm being very realistic about this. I would like to think I'm going to make that kind of money back, but it is probably not going to happen. So I'm choosing some smaller venues, local venues that won't take me out of my way. I don't have to go to, whatever, Western Mass or whatever that other places that I've had to go to in the past. I'd love to if, again, prices were reasonable, but again, transportation costs and gas and this and that, it's really not feasible right now. Now let's hope that Trump gets in, and then by this time next year, we're looking at a completely different game. But that's the way it's going to have to be for now. So again, quickly to catch you up, after the 18th, we've got Thanksgiving weekend. We'll be at the famous Winter Holiday Stroll Fair in St. Patrick's Church Gym, 29 Spring Street, Nashua, New Hampshire, Saturday, the 25th of November from 3 to 9. This is a very fun affair. I've been there before as a customer, and now this is the first time I'll be there as a vendor. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll see you there because it's going to be, it's like a carnival atmosphere. They close the whole street off, the whole main street, and you've got entertainment, you've got music, you've got games. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll wrap it up at the 8th annual Nashua Holiday Fair. We're going back to Nashua the following Saturday. My home away from home, apparently. We'll be at the Hunt Memorial Library, 6 Main Street in Nashua, Saturday, December 2nd from 11 to 4. Now, there's a chance, I always say there's a chance, maybe I'll pick up another date, but I almost picked up another date, and I was like, I think 3 is probably enough. It gets too deep into December, and I don't have the opportunity to really put together stuff like this. So I think that's probably about all I'm going to be able to do for this year. And maybe next year we'll see what happens. We'll be able to expand our horizons a little bit and go a little further still. But again, really excited about this book. And, if you haven't yet, check out, I think a couple of broadcasts ago, we did a show all about Bullets Bourbon, Man of Our Times, the storyline we've got going on there. Right now, we're in the middle of it. I don't remember if I even showed the cover of the next issue. We're in the middle of working on that. I put up an image on Twitter if you try to find it for the next issue, which is called Nursery Crimes. And it's going through some changes. I'm tweaking the color and doing, some different things with it. So it might not be the same as you see on my website or on Twitter. The final version may differ somewhat. Well, we'll have to wait. So that about takes us up to our show. And again, thank you for checking out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. If you are interested, be sure to check out the link in the description for my website. And of course, the link to Twitter, you'll find out all the stuff I'm up to there and then. And we'll get to the show now. What is our first subject? Let's see. Let's talk about, it's the end of an era. At least that's what they're calling it. Superman and Lois apparently is going to wrap up with the next and final season. Trying to find my notes. Here we go. Superman and Lois concludes its run, marking the end of an era for the Greg Berlanti produced Arrowverse, or CW-verse, that began with Arrow back in 2012. Over the last 3 seasons, Superman and Lois redefined both the superhero genre and the family drama, as Tyler, Elizabeth, and the entire cast effortlessly portrayed these classic characters with new layers of depth and complexity that had never been explored in the Superman universe, said Brad Schwartz, president of entertainment at the CW. We're grateful for the years of hard work and graceful storytelling from the show's writers, producers, actors, and crew, as well as our terrific partnership at Warner Brothers and Berlanti Productions. As Superman embarks on his final flight, the team is leaving us with an absolutely epic 10-episode must-watch farewell to one of the most legendary families ever. While we're sad to say goodbye to Superman and Lois at the end of Season 4, we're grateful for the time we've had with our amazing cast, crew, VFX teams, editors, musical geniuses, and writers. Since the day this show was first discussed, it was about family, and that's what was created on and off screen, added executive producers and showrunners Todd Helberg and Brett Fletcher. We'd like to thank our partners at Berlanti Productions, DC, WB, and CW for their endless support and enthusiasm during the journey, and give a very special thank you to all the fans for tuning in. We're thrilled about what we have in store for our final season, and can't wait for everyone to watch as Superman, Lois, and all our heroes face off against the biggest threat in the show's history, Lex Luthor. Only 4 of the 12 Season 3 regulars, Tyler Hoechlin, Elizabeth Tulloch, Michael Bishop, and Alex Garfin, are coming back for Season 4 due to budget cuts. All right, so again, to remind you folks where I came down on this, I was not a fan of Superman and Lois Season 3. I thought that was a very long, protracted storyline about Lois's cancer and her suffering through the cancer. Made it very uncomfortable to watch, very uncomfortable, and I didn't enjoy it at all whatsoever. Now, they did a kind of interesting take on Luthor, which I'd be interested to see next season. 10 episodes, I don't really know what they're going to do. I mean, I kind of feel bad that they're not really getting the chance to delve deeper into like the super twins, the 2 sons there, and see them, grow and what actually could happen. I mean, I think Kara's sister had more development, as poor as it was as a superhero, than, Jonathan got. And Jonathan was really the Superman heir in the comics, right? So I kind of feel bad they really didn't get that far. Maybe they'll get into it with this last season, but I have a feeling not much is going to be explored. When you have that few amount of episodes, you're kind of just going to get in it, ride the wave and then be done. Tyler Hoechlin, I thought, was great casting. I'll be always grateful that the CW has always had a very good grasp of casting. I think Tyler Hoechlin really stands up there head and shoulders with the rest of the Superman actors that really gave his all and really felt authentically like Clark Kent slash Kal-El slash Superman. Elizabeth Tulloch as well, a very strong actress, embodied that character very well. And the kids, they were good as well. The casting was great. I didn't really cotton to the family drama aspects that much, and that's kind of what CW does. That's the main course, and the superheroics are the appetizer. Partially, I get it because of budgetary reasons. You can't have Superman, pulling out all the stops and so forth. And it's sort of a necessary evil where the burden is for them to try to make the most of what they can do with a limited budget, with limited time. And then you have the storylines, the family drama storylines taking over. I really am not too fond of that. And I kind of felt the writing on the wall when the Flash was going to be ending. I was like, at this point, I don't really miss it when it's not on. I mean, I got to that point at a certain point. I think it was probably when Arrow was kind of coming to an end. Arrow was kind of coming to an end, and I kind of lost the urgency for the Arrowverse, and it kind of felt like they were running out of gas. There was really nothing new with the Flash for the last 3 seasons at least. There was really nothing else they could do with Arrow. They kind of were spinning their wheels and covering the same ground again and again with Arrow in the last couple of seasons as well. I don't really know what Superman and Lois could have done differently had they another 3 or 4 seasons to try to make it to like 8 or 9 seasons. I really don't know what they would do. It would be more drama with Sarah and, Jordan and Jonathan. I don't know if he would get his powers. I mean, it really wasn't. I really don't know where they would go because they were really spinning their wheels with the family drama, the family dynamics. I think the best season was the second season. The first season started very slowly and very tediously. They grew their roots kind of tediously getting to that point so that the second half of the season was pretty good. Second season was good. The Bizarro stuff, I mean, it wasn't the most compelling villain, I don't think. But and then you got Lucy back, which I'm always a stickler for when they try to do something more with a side character that they kind of abandoned. Let's see, Hunter Iggy. What's up? What's up, my friend? Nice to see you here in the chat. We're talking about Superman and Lois. And apparently this is the final season coming up with was it season 4? Yeah, season 4. But again, I enjoyed the show for what it was, and it's kind of sad to see the end of the Arrowverse, CW verse. But like I said, I kind of felt like it was running out of gas, and it was, to its credit, it showed that you can have an interlocking superhero universe on TV that kind of rivaled what Marvel was doing in the MCU. I think I don't think this is even up for debate, but I think that the Arrowverse was a better connected universe than what was going on in the DCEU. The DCEU wasn't even really keeping itself together as strongly as the Arrowverse was. Now, that's not to say the Arrowverse didn't have its hiccups, and there was some things that were kind of confusing, and some when you have these universe shattering occurrences, it's kind of difficult to keep up. But it is kind of the end of an era, and it is kind of sad to see them go. But like I said, I think it's kind of time. I honestly do. So let me know what you think in the comments below about the end of the Arrowverse, officially the end of the Arrowverse with the ending of Superman and Lois. All right, so let's see. Next up, let's stick with the television talk for a while. We got the Echo trailer just the other day. So let's talk about the Echo trailer. All right, let me see. Hunter Iggy says, there are rumors going around the internet DCU have made a secret casting for Circle. Is Yennefer the actress from The Watcher? I don't know about that. I really haven't heard anything about that. So I wouldn't know. But I imagine that's for what? Circle. Isn't that from Wonder Woman? Again, I'm not sure because I haven't heard about that. But anybody has any information about it, well, let me know. All right, let's take a look at the Echo trailer. Well, we're not going to look at the trailer because I don't push my luck. I don't want to get copyright struck or whatever and get the episode taken down. But we'll talk about it here. So Echo, let me take a look at my notes. Let's see. Echo, the trailer dropped yesterday. Maya Lopez, Wilson Fisk, and Daredevil are all confirmed in the sneak peek. No Bad Deed Goes Unpunished on January 10th, 2024, Marvel Studios Echo will launch on Disney Plus and Hulu. The 5-episode streaming event spotlights Maya Lopez, played by Alaqua Cox, as she's pursued by Wilson Fisk's Vincent D'Onofrio criminal empire. When the journey brings her home, she must confront her own family and legacy. All 5 episodes are set to stream January 10th on both platforms, though they'll be available on Hulu only until April 9th. This is the first time Marvel will drop all of what the press release calls entirely bingeable episodes at once. Marvel Studios confirmed Echo will be rated TVMA. Daredevil, seemingly wearing his suit from the Netflix series, makes a brief appearance, but much of the spotlight is on Kingpin. As expected, he survived the events of the Hawkeye series and has tracked Maya down. Fans continue to question what the point of Echo is beyond being a Daredevil born-again lead-in show, but it's widely believed we'll see the title character receive a major power upgrade, which could see her become a major player in the Marvel universe. Echo also stars Chase Spencer, Graham Greene, Tantu Cardinal, Devaney Jacobs, all these names, Zahn McLaren, Cody Lightning, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Episodes of the series was directed by Sidney Freeland and Katrona McKenzie. All right, so what are my feelings about this? I honestly, I'm not a fan of, and I've gone through this before, I'm not a fan of the Netflix Daredevil show. I did not like it. It wasn't horrible, and of course, it was a great cast. I mean, Vincent D'Onofrio was born to play the Kingpin. Ditto Charlie Cox as the Daredevil. That was fine. I'm afraid. I guess afraid is a strong term, but I'm afraid what's going to happen is they're going to try to copy the violence slash, talky, for lack of a better term, style of Netflix, where it's like 2 or 3 long, talky, boring episodes, and then there's this one action-centered episode with a lot of violence. I don't really see the need for that kind of bloody violence, especially if this Daredevil is supposed to mesh now. I mean, we already had him with She-Hulk, and that was a completely different tone that we've seen whatsoever from Netflix. We've seen him interact, Matt Murdock, with Peter Parker, and that's a completely different universe. Now we're going to try to mesh the Netflix Daredevil in the MCU, where he's going to interact with these other characters. It's very difficult for me to see how this is going to work and be successful. Now, again, I don't really have a problem with them trying to play this serious and not, try to make it jokey and cartoony, but you don't need that R rating. You don't need to have Daredevil, be so dour and bleak and then expect him to try to mesh with the rest of the MCU. You don't have Kingpin being like punching this ice cream vendor face bloody and into a pulp, and then try to reconcile that with the rest of the MCU. I think they had a chance here, a real good chance to try to remold Daredevil into the MCU mold. And again, you can have that be somewhat darker. You can have that be somewhat more serious. He doesn't have to be a joke a minute. And, this is going to stand out like a sore thumb, though, if this is the way they're going to treat the Daredevil when they eventually want to have him in with the MCU. Now, that aside, I also don't know exactly how this is supposed to, is this going to be a soft reboot, or is this going to be just a complete continuation of the Netflix show? I was excited, hoping it wasn't going to be a complete continuation, that it was going to be a soft reboot, that we'd have the original cast back, but we didn't have to be beholden to what was going on before. You can say that it happened, but let's not really focus on that. I want to see a high flying Daredevil. I want to see him jumping around. I want to see the acrobatics. I want to see nice, big budget special effects and action scenes. And I don't want to just see people getting their hands ripped off and getting their face beat in. That to me is not part and parcel of what makes Daredevil an exciting character. Now, I realize here I'm talking way too much about Daredevil and not about Echo. We're going to get to Daredevil in a second, technically. Right now, we're just talking about Echo. But again, this is basically just a interlocking prelude, I suppose, to Daredevil Born Again, because we got, we got the introduction of Matt in Spider-Man No Way Home. We got the introduction of Kingpin in Hawkeye. Now is the time for them to develop, and this is the interlocking piece to bring them together so we can get a proper Daredevil show. I don't know. I mean, is this an interesting enough character? Again, it's just sort of like a prelude. I think it's a prologue. I don't think that it's probably necessary in the long run, but again, maybe this sets the stage. And I don't know. I mean, they want to do, they kind of want to do the diversity thing. I already seen on Twitter where it's she's the first Native American superhero who is deaf. And it's like, yeah, great. That's great, but do we really care about this character? I thought she was fine in Hawkeye. What they're going to do with her going forward, I don't know. I mean, it's like one of these things where we're going to get to that too in a little while, but it's like, what do we have to look forward to in the MCU going forward? We're going to have Echo. We're going to have Shang-Chi. We're going to have, I guess, the new Black Widow. You know what I mean? There really isn't any heavy hitters, and them introducing these kind of characters are not really going to do it for me. I don't know about anybody else. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do it for anybody else either. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below about Echo, and let's shift gears here to the Daredevil. Now, I want to talk about Daredevil because I missed back about, I don't know, early October. It came out that Daredevil was being scrapped and they were going to start over again. So let's talk about that. Let's see. All right. Marvel Studios fired head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, along with directors attached to the remaining episodes. The plan now is to essentially reboot Daredevil Born Again from a creative level with a hunt for new writers and directors. Ord and Corman came up with a legal procedural that was vastly different from Netflix's Daredevil. In fact, Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock wasn't going to don his superhero costume until the 4th episode. Now, I'm kind of excited that they got rid of these guys now because that was my biggest fear. That's been my biggest fear, is that they're going to, now they're trying to say that this is somehow breaking, I guess, with the Netflix Daredevil. Netflix Daredevil did have like long, boring stretches, long, talky scenes, and then you had Daredevil in like his ratty gym clothes. I don't want to see that anymore. The MCU has money now. I guess under the Netflix deal, they really didn't go out of their way to spend. They didn't go out of their way to make it interconnected with the MCU. It was supposedly part of the MCU, but not really. Kind of like what they did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was like, yeah, you can do a little nod, but after a while, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it was like its own thing. And that's kind of what happened with Netflix. And so it's difficult to see how they're going to reconcile that. Okay. And again, 4 episodes without Daredevil. It was a mercy killing that they pulled the plug on this thing. It was a merciful release that we got rid of it. So I'm thankful. In an 18-episode show, that's a strange decision. Yeah, no kidding. Daredevil Born Again, in its original form at least, has been scrapped, but the show will live on. Marvel plans to keep some scenes and episodes, though other serialized elements will be injected, with Corman and Ord becoming executive producers on the 2-season series. So they're going to have 2 seasons of this, I guess. That's pretty interesting. I'm glad that they're doing that, but I mean, I was kind of hoping this was going to be an ongoing series. You know what I mean? This overhaul is part of Marvel Studios' new approach to small screen storytelling. Now, this was also something that excited me when I heard about it. The plan now is to begin hiring proper showrunners who will be joined by full-time TV executives in place of movie ones. As Marvel's Brad Winderbaum explained, we need executives that are dedicated to this medium, that are going to focus on streaming, focus on television, because they are two different forms. This revamped development process will see showrunners write pilots and show Bibles. Wow! What a novel approach. You're actually going to write a show Bible. You're going to have a plan. You're going to stick to it. And you're going to try to come up with something every season. Wow! This is genius. Why didn't they think of this before? Why all of a sudden are they using their brains a little bit? I don't know. I'm shocked. Shock and awe. This revamped development process will see showrunners write pilots and Bibles, while the days of an entire series being shot and then figuring out what did and didn't work in post production with costly reshoots are now over. We'll also start seeing multi season serialized TV shows rather than limited series, which are used primarily to set the stage for other stories in the wider MCU. Again, smart move. The shows should be themselves and then feed into the other projects, the movies, and whatever. But instead of them constantly being a springboard, that's what they should be. We'll also start seeing. Oh, wait a minute. And we've seen that approach has led to mixed results, especially when conflicting production schedules lead to a lack of connectivity. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't seen Loki season 2 yet, but I like most of what they've done. I mean, to be honest with you, I really liked WandaVision. I really liked Loki season 1. I kind of liked Moon Knight, and I kind of liked Secret Invasion. So again, I really am not quick to like throw the MCU TV division down like it's been so bad. I mean, really, I mean, you could tell that they kind of couldn't stick the landing with Secret Invasion. That they kind of, it was like you could tell it was in the chop shop at the end of the show, and they kind of just figured out, well, what are we going to do to finish this? Moon Knight, I don't know. It intrigued me, but I've never been really interested in that character, so I don't know. But apart from that, I didn't even watch Ms. Marvel, and I don't know. It's just it's a mishmash of, you can see that there's a lot of fingers in the stew. You got to kind of try to do this the right way. All right, let's see. It's likely Daredevil Born Again will now slip even further down the release calendar, and it's hard to say how much of what we've heard about the show, such as the Punisher's return and the Kingpin's attempt to become a New York City mayor, will actually remain. According to insider CWGST, Matt put aside the Daredevil's cowl for over a year after failing to save Foggy. Now this is why Foggy and Karen apparently weren't in the show, because remember they didn't bring back what's his name, Drew Henson, I think, and Deborah Ann Wall, which was a big mistake. If you ask me, very big mistake to take out the two most important, family characters for the show and do nothing with them. That was a terrible mistake. He mentions that Kingpin would have been mayor, winning a campaign on backing law enforcement while discouraging street level heroes like Punisher, Daredevil, and Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't think that would have been a bad thing to do, but to have a Kingpin run for mayor, maybe they have a better plan. I don't know. It's kind of tough because, again, I don't know where they're going to tie this in with the Netflix show where he was in jail, and it's kind of hard to, I don't know. Anybody can win an election. I think we've learned that reasonably well in the past 3 years. If this is accurate, this would explain why Eldon Henson, who played Foggy Nelson in the Netflix series, Eldon Henson, his name is, didn't reprise the role for Born Again. There's no mention of Deborah Ann Wall. She wasn't expected to return either. There's a chance she would have shared Foggy's fate. So again, I'm very happy that they're starting this over again. I'm very happy that they scrapped these plans because they sounded awful. They sounded terrible. I mean, the Kingpin running for mayor notwithstanding, that might have been okay, but You got to have Foggy Nelson. You've got to have Karen Page. Why would you kill off the only interesting side characters he has? Are we going to put a night nurse? Let Rosario Dawson do, Ahsoka season 2 or something. I don't need to see her again. That was like a useless role. I mean, it's just sort of like stunt casting. It was like, well, let's just put Rosario Dawson in because she's a big name and she can get some interest in the show. But I mean, who else are you going to have him interact with? An all new diverse cast, I guess, is the idea. I think that we all figured on. But again, I think this is for the best. I think this is going to work out. Hopefully, they're going to do the right thing. I mean, just look what they did with Spider Man. Spider Man was a disaster. His supporting cast was abysmal. And I have a feeling that's what was going to happen with Daredevil. And I hope that, I hope and pray that that's not going to happen still now. That, hopefully the powers that be have sobered up, made some sense. We'll talk about that too in a minute about if the powers that be are going to sober up and make some sense. All right, we got one more story here before our final story. You may call this the penultimate story. This came out just this week as well. And let me know what you think in the comments below about the Daredevil. I know I'm in the minority here. I know I'm in the minority. I know I'm going to catch heat for saying, oh, Netflix Daredevil wasn't any good. It was boring. It was not that adventuresome, not much action. But, honestly, it wasn't. You know what I mean? We deserved much better from the Daredevil than what we got on Netflix. Again, the cast notwithstanding, I love Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio and Deborah Ann Wall. They were all fine, but let's let Disney do what they do best, which is actually providing some spectacle. And let's let that be. All right, so let's see. I don't understand how this works. I'm trying to do one of those things that StreamYard said that you could do. You could like mark off another segment. And I was to see if that works by actually trying it, and they are not letting me do it. It says we can't create a marker. All right, so I guess that don't work. StreamYard, if you're paying attention, maybe you might want to look into that technology a little more. All right, so we have Blade in the house. We got some news about Blade in this article as well about Vanity Fair, I guess. Excuse me, Variety, talking about what is going on with the MCU and the disaster that they're seemingly going through right now. Not doing very well at the box office, not doing very well creatively. As public criticism mounts, Feige is pulling the plug on scripts and projects that aren't working. Case in point, the Blade reboot with Mahershala Ali signed on for the role of the vampire. Things looked promising for a 2023 release date, but the project has gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, and 1 shutdown 6 weeks before production. One person familiar with the script said that the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. This is gonna kill me. This story is gonna kill me. Can't you believe it though? I don't know. This is rumor. This is completely rumor, but it sounds so authentic that I believe it. I believe this is. Excuse me. Let me see if I can get through that line again. One person familiar with the script said the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to 4th lead. lead was relegated to fourth lead. A bizarre idea considering the studio had a two-time Oscar winner. They don't care, bro. They don't care. They care they got an Oscar winner, two-time Oscar winner, Ali on board. They don't care. The agenda comes first, you know? This is so stupid. This is so stupid. But we all know it's probably true, right? This is probably the case. This is probably what happened. All right, so so amid reports that Ali was ready to exit over script issues, Feige went back to the drawing board and hired Michael Green, the Oscar-nominated writer of Logan, to start anew. Speculation around town is that the studio is looking to make the film, now slated for 2025, on a budget of less than $100 million, a deviation from Marvel's big spending strategy. I what else is there to say? I mean, you know, I believe it. It's the case. I'm full confidence that this report is correct. He was the fourth lead, led by women, and filled with life lessons. I mean, life lessons. All right, you know, don't become a vampire. Is that what they're talking about? I have a feeling that's not what they're talking about. I have a feeling they're talking about, you know, the woke message and bringing all that to the forefront. So I think we dodged a bullet here, and I think this is kind of leading to like the final segment is Feige and crew finally getting their head out of the grass and finally waking up and realizing that woke ain't gonna cut it anymore for anybody. We can only hope and pray, but I'm thinking it's possible. Well, before we carry on here with the last topic, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think that this is an accurate appraisal? Now I know one of the screenwriters got on Twitter. I don't have the actual quote here. I think I got the wrong notes here on this, but he did say that that wasn't in his draft. But they've gone over like about, it says they've gone through five writers, two directors. I'm pretty sure that this must be accurate in one of the in one of the scripts. It must have looked like this. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And will Blade ever make it to the silver screen again? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The final talk here, or the final subject. Let's see. We're going to talk about apparently secret wars. The rumors abound with secret wars. And let's see. The rumor has it again. This is rumor. I don't deal a lot in rumor, but let's face it. I don't think this is rumor either. I think they always planned this. I think they knew, let's get that, you know, ESG score or whatever they call it. Let's get a lot of press so that the right people will look at us and say, oh, they're doing the right thing. They're going to have, you know, like I said, a roster of Shang-Chi and Black Captain America and, you know, Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel, and it's going to be the wokest thing you've ever seen. And then when things started to tank, they were going to play this card. They were going to do the Secret Wars. They were going to pull all the old original OG gangsters back out of retirement. They're going to sign RDJ. They're going to get Chris Evans back for one last hurrah, and then probably soft reboot it so that they can say they did their due diligence. They got all the woke crap that's been in the comics for the last 10 years on the silver screen, and now it's time for a soft reboot. We're going to bring back Captain America and Iron Man and all that stuff at some point here with probably a new cast. All right, so reportedly, Robert Downey Jr. has signed on the dotted line to play Iron Man again, Tony Stark, and Chris Evans is said to be on board to return as Captain America. There's no idea whether they'll star as variants or the originals. The last time Evans played Cap was in Avengers Endgame. In the movie's closing moments, he passed the shield to Sam Wilson, his friend, the mantle of Captain America, also in the process. Steve was absent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All we know is the former Avenger is quote-unquote gone, and the Statue of Liberty has since been redesigned in Cap's honor, suggesting that he is probably dead in that timeline. Uh, as far as we are aware, in the rumorville, only Scarlett Johansson is left to be enlisted for an MCU return. Hopefully, Feige has fully smoothed over with the actress after former Disney CEO Bob Chapek decided to take her to task for wanting what she was owed after Black Widow largely bypassed theaters for Disney Plus's short-lived Premier Access platform. Remember, she sued the pants off of Disney and all that. I have a feeling they could get her back very easily for a nice payday, especially if she's probably not going to play. They're probably not going to like carry this on for much longer. I think they probably are going to go for the payday before it's over. Um, it will come down to story, and with the multiverse at play, there's likely fun to be had. All right, so what do I think about this? A lot of people are bemoaning this. I see online a lot of people are bemoaning this, acting like, oh, death doesn't mean anything in the MCU, and you're ruining with it. Let me be very frank and very clear. Two things. One, if you think that it doesn't matter, they're cheapening the deaths and this, you obviously have not read comic books in your entire life. People are always coming back. Literally, you have Bucky now. Bucky is back because nobody ever dies in comics. I mean, let's be honest. Totally honest. The only people that stood dead in the MCU were, Ben Parker and gosh, I'm hard pressed to even go beyond Ben Parker. I mean, we've got, Bucky is back, and I can't, Gwen Stacy. They found a way to use her and utilize her. I mean, honestly, who really hasn't come back in some form or another? It's just the nature of the beast. So you're trying to act like this is, oh, this is going to ruin. There's not going to be any. No, this is fine. This is exactly what comics do all the time. And secondly, the biggest mistake of all they made was killing off RDJ and, Chris Evans, Captain America. This was the biggest mistake of all time because you don't kill the golden goose. You don't kill your hero characters off. We were saddled with scabs for at least, when did Endgame come out? 2018 or something like that. We've been saddled with scabs for at least 5 years now. We've got, token characters. We've got the B and C list. I only say B list because Doctor Strange, I think, deserves to be on the B list. Maybe Ant-Man too. The C list is everybody else. So it's like you can't carry on the MCU with being generous to like two B listers, like I don't know, 18 C listers and maybe 25 D listers. That's not going to carry you along. They should have never done this in the first place. But like I said, I think it's just a backdoor strategy. They were figuring they could get their ESG score up. They could do the woke thing. They could get the pats on the back from the right people. And now they're going to try to soft reboot the MCU. They're going to get, the old favorites back in for one more hurrah. And maybe it'll be more than one more hurrah. I mean, you know how they do it with Hugh Jackman. He's going to be doing Deadpool 3. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to see RDJ as a version of Iron Man probably in the year 2054 or something, because I don't know. But something will always come up for these guys to come back and do something. Rumor has it they already got a Thor 5 project ready for Chris Hemsworth. He ain't going anywhere. Again, just let them do it. Let them salvage the MCU if they possibly can, because it's going to hell. It's going to a crapper. It's not going, the way that it should for such bountiful characters. I mean, they've got the cream of the crop here, and they've got them on the bench. You know what I mean? That's crazy. In anybody's world, that's crazy. And the problem is and a lot of, it's not just the MCU, but a lot of people now want to hold the actors in too high of an esteem. I've said this many times. No actor is greater than the role. Iron Man should be recast if Robert Downey Jr. says, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Same thing with Chris Evans. Same thing with anybody else. The Joker, Batman, any character can be recast. If we didn't do that, then, James Bond would have been over by, the mid 70s or whatever. You know, the Superman franchise would have been over with Kirk Allen. You know what I mean? You have to be open to the thought of recasting, the thought of moving on. I mean, it depends how you go about it. If you want to make it in universe, like a reason for it, you can, say there was something going on with the multiverse or the blip or something like that, and they came back, and you just carry on from there. Or you do the simplest thing, which is do what they did with the Hulk, do what they did with Rhodey, just recast the actor and act like it was nothing. In universe, you just carry on. That's probably the best way to do it. But these characters, they're so big. They're much bigger than the actors that portray them. And, people have to, get used to that idea that what's that's what we love about these characters, that we're always going to have them, that we're always going to see them, and they're always going to come back. They're not going to die. Who wants to see Captain America die? Who wants to see Iron Man die? I mean, was that something that you looked forward to as a kid? Well, I hope in issue 200 of Captain America, I get to see him die because, he's got to go and I got to see the end of his life and I got to see him pass the mantle to someone else. No, I never thought of that as I was a kid. I figured, Captain America is going to outlive me. I mean, he's going to keep going on. He's the man out of time. He'll be fine in any era. In universe, you have to bend the laws of physics or whatever, but the facts remain. You don't want to just see him killed off and replaced. Something else I'm gonna briefly talk about here, and I kind of debated whether I wanted to get into this or not, but this is also indicative of what was going on with if you've seen this past week. Now, I didn't watch the episode, but South Park did a show where they took Kathleen Kennedy to task, and I didn't watch it, but of course I've seen all the clips, and they were very good. It was like pointing out how a character can be recast as a gay black woman, you know, and we're not supposed to notice that, and we're not supposed to complain about it. We're not supposed to say anything about it. We're supposed to treat it like it's normal. And South Park took basically all these woke producers and so forth to task, and then they also honed in on Kathleen Kennedy because she's really the poster child for doing this. Put a chick in it, make it gay and lame. That's the catchphrase now. And it was good to see some validation by someone outside the fan community saying this. And as people may or may not know, I don't really have any love lost for at least what was formerly called the fandom menace, because I feel like they are thriving on the remains of the fandoms. They don't know what real criticism is, what film criticism is, what television criticism is. They don't know criticism. All they know is going on their YouTube channels and bashing whatever. And you see this all the time. I always point out to Nerdrotic because to me he is the epitome, of the rage tuber, and he's made his career doing that. And again, I've said this on Twitter that I have nothing against him personally. I mean, he's done a lot with his life. He's a lot of people want to poke fun at him that, oh, he went to jail, he was a meth dealer or whatever. I mean, he's cleaned up his life and he's made something of himself. That's a lot that can be said for him that you can't say for a lot of people. So I mean, it's nothing personal. But like I said, he's got a gleam in his eye and a smile on his lips when he does these things, when he does these videos. Oh, the MCU is going and rearing its ugly head again. I mean, that to me, it's so phony. It doesn't seem like you're the least bit angry. Gary wouldn't know what to do with himself if he didn't have the MCU to fall back on, if he didn't have Kathleen Kennedy to fall back on. A lot of these guys, I always point out Doomcock too. Doomcock, oh, Kathleen Kennedy's in trouble now. She's going to be gone by the end of the year. And a lot of the rubes go around, oh, wow, Doomcock was right. There's things going on. And there's nothing going to come of that. And it's just a lot of people are making coin by trying to, I don't know, it's sort of like a misery loves company thing. I mean, I would like to say it's like it makes them feel better because they're lashing out at the people that are ruining our shows and stuff. But it's like it's warped the perception of people, and they become very biased. So that, and this is, and what this is tying into is that's kind of what the South Park episode was trying to say at the end. A lot of people didn't like this coda on it, which is a lot of people making their life and having, their life's blood be complaining about the woke is not the answer either. That's not really helping the situation when you're doing rage videos about, look at what they're doing now. The Marvels is coming out and it's going to be crap. Well, you know what? Wait until the Marvels comes out. Watch the movie. See what you think about it. I guarantee you, Nerdrotic and heel versus babyface and Geeks and Gamers, all these guys have already written their review of the Marvels back in 2019, and they are just waiting to cross the T's and dot the I's for it to make sense because they're just going to complain. Brie Larson is terrible. Ms. Marvel is a stupid character, and diversity and tokenism and this and that. Watch the movie and see what it's like first. If it's like that, and in many cases it is, and it will be, all right, say it. But there's just a level of phoniness to the whole thing now at this point. And I think how we got here is we were so hurt when we saw what happened to Star Wars. When The Last Jedi came out, and any trace of hope we had for Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, and how it might go going forward, we were so hurt and abused by that when everybody lashed out and everybody made a big stink about Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy and everybody is terrible and they're all making crap. Everybody did that to a point where they can't, it skewered their vision. They can't see when anything is not woke or is not purposefully trying to shame the people that are the fans, like those movies did, like Last Jedi did. You have to be able to move beyond that and be objective. And that's what I've always tried to do. And I say that with every review. I try to be objective. Something might be overtly woke. Something might be an undercurrent of wokeness. Something might not be woke, but they try to find something woke in it. And that's kind of where we're at. I feel like we have to make sure that we're looking at these things with a legitimate eye, with a legitimate criticism, and not a gleam in our eye, waiting for that one moment. You see that? It's woke. And, for instance, a guy I respect out of all the, rage tubers, whatever you want to call them, a guy I respect is Critical Drinker. And he put out 2 back-to-back videos last week that were entirely contradictory. And I felt he was being very hypocritical. Because on the one hand, he did the first video that he was talking about, because he's pretty fair, he's pretty balanced. But he did a video talking about the South Park episode, and he was saying, oh, maybe they've got a point here. Not everything is woke, and we don't want to go in with both barrels looking for wokeness and complaining, and it kind of, neutralizes the message when we're going in there purposefully looking for the wokeness. And there is woke, but you have to be critical and discern what's the real woke and what's not. And then he puts out another video like 2 days later talking about the Secret Wars thing. And he's doing this whole thing again about they're gonna bring back Captain America and Iron Man, and they're gonna jingle the keys, and you're gonna come lap it up again. And I'm like, maybe they're just bringing back Captain America and Iron Man because they should have never killed them off in the first place. Maybe that's what the MCU needs, and they're course correcting something that they did that was very wrong in the first place. So calling them, whatever he called them, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna use that kind of language. saying that they're dumbheads or whatever. Let's just put that word in there, and you know, nullifying when they're doing something right. That's what I've always complained about. Why do you want to keep kicking the bear or whatever when they're doing something for you? If they look like they're going to change their ways and they're going to do something else, give them a chance to do it. Now, if they fail, if they let you down, all right, you've got full reason to go off and take them out with both barrels. Fine. You want to criticize them, you want to harangue them, you want to do whatever. Go ahead. But you have to let them try to right the ship. I mean, I'm trying to think of like, I think like with Ahsoka, I think what that show was really trying to find a bearing for Star Wars going forward. Because they had to know that they haven't been doing too good lately. And I think that was kind of what they were trying to do, and they were trying to course correct. And everybody didn't give them a chance to do much of anything with that show because everybody was jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, basically the same. It's woke and this and that crap when it really wasn't that woke. And then you have, in this case, the MCU. Don't go telling me that I can't get excited about bringing back RDJ and Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson because they should have never left. And if they were going to leave, they shouldn't have left by being killed off. They should have left by having, the blip goes off. They wake up in different bodies. They look like different people. All right. We have like maybe 10 seconds of explanation, and then we continue on with Captain America and Iron Man for a whole new phase and a whole new set of phases. And then maybe 3 phases from now, we do it all over again. Given that Captain America's been around for 80 years, Iron Man's been around for 60 years, I think you'll have enough material to do shows and movies and whatever involving them. I don't think you need to worry about it. So carry on. But, they've led us here. They've led us to, the wokeness and the C-listers. So when they're going to bring back the A-listers, don't go putting a kibosh on it and getting me, in the camp of jingling the keys and they just want you to come back and spend your money. Well, if they give me the product I want to spend my money on it. They're not doing anything that, is offensive to me by bringing back the characters that I loved. And even in this case, the actors I loved playing those characters for the first 2-3 phases of the MCU. I mean, the MCU was chugging along right fine until Endgame. Everybody will tell you, Endgame was the end game. It was the game changer. It was pretty much where MCU went down. And maybe a film or two before that. I mean, Captain Marvel was not great, but the fact is, you got to give them the opportunity to see if they can right the ship, and that's kind of what I think Secret Wars will do if this, in fact, is them bringing back the original characters so that they can continue on and move the MCU in the right direction. So let me know what you think in the comments below. That's about all we've got for today. Again, check out our comic book, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. I'm sure you're going to love it. It's really exciting, really great, really funny, really dramatic at times. We got you covered everywhere. That's what I love about Bullets Bourbon, the comic, is it's really adaptable for anything. If I want to say something serious, I can do it. If I want to do something humorous, I can do it. It expands to all the different genres. You know what I mean? You can do the the sad romantic story like I've done. You can do the witty and wisecracking stuff. You can do the slapstick stuff. You can do sort of the thriller and play with some suspense. And I feel like it's set up for all of that. And that's what's great, is being able to work in that kind of environment where I'm not fettered by, I gotta stay in a certain corner of comics because it's stick in your lane and all that. Again, I would like to see if I can do another video. I'm going to be busy for the next couple of weekends. I might try to get one more video out next week. But if I can't, thank you for joining me all the times that you have. Like I said, been about 10 years we've been doing this. And, well, I don't know how many years we've been doing videos. I still don't know. But apparently, I've made my presence known here for quite a while now. So hopefully that you will take that adventure with me more in the future. And until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.